morning, wherever you are watching from in the world, and welcome to round 5 of the 2023 FI Network Junior GP World Championship, coming to you live from just outside the magnificent city of Barcelona. A 4.2 kilometer in length with 14 turns, Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona is one of the classic tracks on the annual motorsports calendar. A mixture of hard-braking, fast corners, a 1 kilometer front straight, plus plenty of opportunities for passing make for the perfect racing destination. Today, it's the stars of the future who take to the hallowed tarmac just about 30 minutes outside the city of Barcelona. I'm Chris Jordan, and today I have the pleasure of being alongside Tristan Finocchiaro as we get set for what should be a cracking day of racing under the Spanish sun. And Tristan, I have to say, it is another cracker of a day. Real crackle of anticipation too down in pit lane as we walked around. I'm looking forward to this one. How are you feeling ahead of us?
Absolutely, completely excited for this one. Chris, all the fans have flooded to the circuit this morning. We saw them all going down the pit lane for that pit lane walk, getting all the autographs with the riders. These are the stars of the future here at the FI Network FIM Junior GP. All these riders will be coming through these categories. It is the gateway to the World Championship at Grand Prix level, and I'm excited to see how these riders will fare today.
Yeah, and you can see there 27 degrees. It's still coming up on 11 a.m. here. If you're from the American audience, that's 81 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's only going to get warmer. It was 30 plus yesterday. We took some strolls around pit lane, and yeah, it was a difficult one. This is what happened though last time out in the Junior GP Championship at the Algarve, and starting at race 2, it was Angel Piqueras who led going into the opening corner. A little further back, Xabi Zuratuza crashed out of contention, while we see Almanza Marco Ruda going toe-to-toe here, rubbing shoulders coming down the front straight. Almanza had the lead going into turn 1, but it was all chopping and changing. Joel Esteban there, Luca Lanetta as well, but it was Piqueras, Esteban fighting it out. But there is your winner, Xabi Zuratuza, coming from the depths of hell at the back of the grid and through the long lap penalty to become the Junior GP 100 race winner. In race 2 then, it was Piqueras who once again led into the opening corner. A little further back, excuse me, it was Jakob Rulson, Marcus Ruda were in the thick of the action. As we look at Piqueras once again, a trio formed between Esteban, Piqueras and Almanza. Esteban had to make a little bit of a comeback. He was 1.5 seconds behind at one stage, but what a ride to take the win ahead of Piqueras on the line. But it is all about this rider on our screens, number 18, Angel Piqueras, our championship leader. It's a big weekend for him. He has the opportunity to wrap up the Junior GP title. He's already got the Red Bull Rookies Cup crown to his name, and he's looking to follow after Jose Antonio Rueda, and this is what he said as he starts on pole.
Sí, ha sido un día complicado porque bueno, en el FP3 he tenido una caída al principio del entreno y bueno, he tenido que llegar con la moto por el pit lane corriendo para salir otra vez, y bueno, he quedado cuarto porque en el FP3 solo vale clasificarte para la Q2, y después en la Q2 tenía un buen feeling del otro libre y he salido confiado, y bueno, he cuadrado la vuelta y he podido hacer la pole. Es un circuito difícil porque bueno, es muy difícil por la recta, ¿no? Porque si tú a lo mejor vas solo y después alguien te pilla un rebufo, te quita la pole, entonces estoy bastante contento. Pienso que será muy difícil escaparme aquí por la recta, pero bueno, todo puede ser, ¿no? Entonces, a ver. Hoy le dedico esta pole a mi hermana Zulema porque es su cumpleaños, que hace 23 hoy.
Well, a happy birthday to Zulema. And Piqueras, you could see his strategy there. We've already seen him pull the pin a couple of times this season for victory. He feels it might be a little bit difficult with the longest straight on the Junior GP calendar here in Barcelona, over 1 kilometer in length. So we could be in for a big battle, Tristan.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, the longest straight on the calendar, and slipstream is so important around this circuit. We saw a lot of riders trying to get that slipstream yesterday, running slow in a few sectors, and a lot of the riders have been slapped with a back of the grid penalty, including the junior talent team riders, all 4 of them. Aditama, O'Shea, Boisri and Daniel Charil will all start from the back of the grid, as well as Elia Bartolini, who was also caught riding slow in one of the sectors. Alex Gordon is another rider. He'll start right from the back of the grid, and Leo Ramestoffer also was caught not just riding slow in 2 sectors, but also riding dangerously through the long lap loop, so he'll have to ride through the long lap loop again during the race, as well as starting from the back of the grid. So a double penalty for Ramestoffer.
Yeah, you got to be really careful around here. You don't want to incur the wrath of the stewards. Jakob Ralston then, he will be out to spoil the Angel Piqueras on pole party. Yet to win this season, he had a bit of a disappointing run last time. He was competing at the front in race 2 and dropped to P15. He's got 1 podium to date so far. This is his best qualifying. His previous best came at the Algarve last time where he started 4th. He starts 2nd today and will be hoping to target that breakthrough victory and deny Piqueras another win in the class.
Yeah, Ralston's looked so strong so far this weekend. Another rider who's looked pretty strong this weekend as well as the number 22 of David Almanza, always up there on the timing screens.
Yeah, a real talent, but he's got the problem in the first 4 races where he crashed out, not necessarily through any fault of his own. Maybe in Estoril he did high side at the chicane, but he bounced back in spectacular fashion at the Jerez round race 2 to take victory. He was on the podium then last time in race 2 at the Algarve, just missed out in race 1, and you can bet he will be part of that lead group. Should a lead group form, which we imagine it does, it is Junior GP after all, he will be part of it, whether it's 3 or 20 riders.
Yeah, you can bet anything that there will be an absolute freight train at the front of this race. Lining up, heading the 2nd row in 4th spot then is Jabi Zurutuza, 1 win and 1 podium currently to his name, and he'll be looking only 17 years old. He picked up that 1st win back at Portimao, and he'll be looking to try and do that again here today.
Yeah, the 100th different Junior GP race winner, and what a way to do it. Myself and our colleague Liam Hodgins had the pleasure of commentating on that race, and I tell you, it was an absolute showstopper. Coming from the back of the grid through the long lap penalty, and then he denied Tachacombe Boasri, looked to be on for the win coming through the final corner, but Jabi Zurutuza with the ride of his life to come through and take it on the line. Nico Carraro then, he was the winner in the opening race of this season. Another spectacular win, 1 win, 1 podium, but as you can see from his string of results there, he hasn't quite scaled those heights yet, hasn't been back on the podium. Valencia, his best finish in race 1 in round 2, but since then it's been a little bit off form for such a talented rider.
Well, starting from the 2nd row of the grid, he'll be looking to turn that around then with that dip of form of late. Perfect place to be able to do it there, right in the middle of the front row. We'll be able to get that inside line down into turn 1, so he's positioned himself in a pretty decent spot there.
Yeah, it's a pretty long run to the line as well. We've mentioned it a couple of times already about the straight, but it is a long run to the line. If he can just get a good start, he will be in contention, as will Luca Lunetta, twice pole man in 2023. He was on pole last time out in the Algarve as well, but encountered some problems at the start, took a visit into the pit lane just before the warm-up lap, and that cost him his pole position in race 1. But as you can see, it didn't affect him too much. He came another rider to charge from deep on the grid to take a podium finish. Race 2 though, he did start on pole but came home in P11. He'll be looking to maybe rectify that last result after such a strong race 1 in the Algarve, but he is definitely a threat from the 2nd row.
Definitely really coming into his own this year as well. We saw flashes of brilliance from him last year, but this year, like we say, he's really come into his own. Got that pole position last time out, and a few podiums this year as well. Alvaro Carpe then will line up in the 7th spot on the grid. The Spanish rider has picked up a few podiums so far this season and looking strong so far this weekend as well.
Yeah, he seems to like a Spanish round. 3 podiums in a row coming at Valencia and the Jerez double. We're back on Spanish territory now here in Catalonia at Circuit de Barcelona. Will he be a contender for the podium? I wouldn't bet against it.
Yeah, didn't score a point last year, but really coming into his own this year. He's joined the Husqvarna team and really coming strong on that machine. So definitely the right step a step in the right direction for the Spaniard.
Facundo Llambias then, the Uruguayan rider, just a teammate of Angel Piqueras, who starts on pole. He will launch from P8 on the Honda machine. 0 wins, 0 podium, 0 pole so far, but he has picked up 12 points. It's not been maybe the breakthrough season he was hoping for, but Valencia showed promise getting a P9 there. But as you can see, he's finished outside the points on several occasions. In the points, picked up 2 points there, or 3 points rather, in P13 in race 2 at the Algarve. So he'll be looking for a continuation. Maybe a top 10 is a good ambition for the young Uruguayan.
Yeah, it's a difficult step coming over here from South America, coming over here to the European style of racing. It's a very, very high level here at Junior GP. It is the final stepping stone before Grand Prix racing. You see a lot of ththese riders move up to the Moto3 World Championship and beyond. So many big names have come through this championship, so it's a very, very high level.
Indeed, and another one of the riders who is one of pedigree. We see he already has a podium to his name this year. Adrian Cruces, just 16 years of age. That podium came in Jerez race 1. He was on the front row last time out in the Algarve, but couldn't quite make that count. As you can see, 2 non-point scoring finishes, 2 DNFs. So he'll be looking to rectify that.
Yep, and starting back there on the grid, he'll be looking for a good start and a good run down into turn 1. We'll expect to see a lot of changes of positions on that run down into turn 1 and on the first lap, as ever in Junior GP and as ever in racing. This rider, though, Joel Esteban, so impressive this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much our watchers or our viewers caught of that Algarve race 2, but my word, what a race he had. He's come up from the ETC. He got his breakthrough win last time out in race 2. I think it was 4 laps remaining, 3 laps remaining. He was behind the lead duo of Almanza and Piqueras by about 1.6 seconds, and he went on to win the race. Absolutely superb effort.
Yeah, really, really impressed by Esteban this year. He's really made that step up from ETC to Junior GP. He's made it almost look easy, and it definitely is not. So great attitude he has towards it as well, just making sure he's enjoying his racing and he's hitting his targets and he's achieving his goals. So incredible stuff from the youngster. Yeah,
he is definitely fond of a charge through the pack. So a little further back in P10 on the head of the 4th row, but don't discount the young Spaniard. So then, this is the grid for the upcoming Junior GP Race 1 here.
Angel Piqueras then lines up on pole position ahead of Jacob Rolson and David Almanza. They'll be looking for a strong run into turn 1. Zurutuza, Carraro and Luneta make up row 2 ahead of Carpe, Lambias and Cruces on row 3.
Then on row 4, it's Joel Esteban, Cormac Buchanan and Morosi. Marcus Ruda, Marcus Uriarte and Hamada are on the 5th, with Rosenthaler, Umu and Collins on the 6th row.
Plonk heads row 7 then ahead of Uezu Tietzi. Detweiler heads the row 8 ahead of Elia Bartolini, who was slapped with a penalty, as well as Shireen O'Shea and Adatama. Bouazri as well with a rider with a penalty for riding slow yesterday. Ramostofa will have to take a long lap penalty in this one as well as Parr starting from the back of the grid, with Gordon starting from dead last.
So off on the warm-up lap we go. You saw some big names at the back of the grid, namely Tatucon Bouazri, P2 last time out, a race winner already in the Junior GP class, that coming last year at Estoril. It'll definitely worth watching what he can do from further back on the grid as they flick through turn 1 and turn 2 left-hander and get ready for this big, long right-hander that is turn 3. Gotta keep it tight here. It's very long, looping, sweeping right-hander before we make a run to the line at turn 4. Popular overtaking hotspot. Expect plenty of action around these parts of the track, particularly sector 1, Tristan. There's a lot of overtaking action and we expect to see plenty of it here.
Yeah, we went through the overtaking hotspots yesterday, and I would definitely say it's definitely the corners at the end of the straight. So turn 1, turn 4 at the end of that short, sharp little straight, turn 5 as well. This one we're just looking at right now, and then down the hill at the end of the back straight as well, down at turn 10. But as we've seen over and over again in Junior GP, every corner is a passing opportunity.
Yeah, it very much is. We have our hotspots listed out in our notes all the time, and the riders decide, no, I'm going to make a new one.
Almost no point in listing them out, is there?
Very little. So this is the championship standings. Well, very briefly, but we saw Angel Piqueras is on top in the Junior GP World Championship. 2 races coming today, and if he can leave here with 75-point advantage, then he will become the new Junior GP World Champion. Yeah, he's aiming to follow in the footsteps of Jose Antonio Rueda. He won here last year. He's now in the Moto3 World Championship class. but he also won the Red Bull Rookies Cup, so he would just become the second ever rider to do so.
Piqueras needs to score 21 points more than Alvaro Carpe to win it this weekend. 11 more than Luca Lunetta, 8 more than Ralston, and 7 more than the number 7, Joel Esteban. It's a tall order, but it could be done.
Yeah, a lot of talent out on track. Piqueras chief among them, but you never know what can happen. This is racing after all. You never know what could happen. So the red flag is up. Riders are on the grid as we prepare to go. It's 11 o'clock. This Junior GP Round 5 Race 1 is only moments away from kicking off as the last few riders now roll up to their spot on the grid. We hold the red flag above and we will be underway with lights out in just a couple of moments. So here we go then, the revs are arriving, the green flag is gone, the red flag is gone, the first lights are out, and we are away here in Catalonia. Piqueras has a good start, but the number 12 of Jacob Ralston looks to have gotten the inside line, but he is tucked in right behind Piqueras, and Piqueras has definitely got the run to the line coming into turn 1. Will anyone be able to fire it up the inside coming in? Ralston has a look, as does Carraro. Carraro gets up the inside of Almanza, but he's got the inside line, Almanza on the left. But it's Piqueras who takes the whole shot coming into turn 3. But Ralston has made a move through the right to left switch. And it is the number 12 of Jacob Ralston who leads coming out of the first sector. Piqueras slots into second with Almanza in third. It's going to change again. Almanza is making a move upside. Oh, he gets right up close with Piqueras. Piqueras had to check himself and he's dropped into third with Almanza now in second place.
A good start then from Nico Carraro, but he's dropped back a little bit further down now. And it was a beautiful move from Ralston there through that fast right-hander. He leads the way then from Almanza and Angel Piqueras. These positions will continue to change for the duration of the race. Ralston still looking for that first victory. 15 laps to go though.
Almanza just looks like he's trying to get a little bit of a head start here. Yeah, there goes the hand. Follow me, boys. Let me catch Jacob Ralston. I've never seen that happen once. But it is Ralston out front. We see a long lap penalty coming the way, coming up on our timing screens. That's for Leo Rammerstoffer. And he will have to serve that over the next couple of laps. It's Ralston who leads though over Almanza. Piqueras is in third. Joel Esteban fourth. Javi Zuratutsa in fifth. Nico Carraro, as you mentioned, got a good start. He's in the top 6 places. Facundo Yambias, Adrian Cruces, Alvaro Carpe and Luca Lunetta round out the top 10, but it is all going to chop and change.
Esteban got a flying start from 10th place on the grid, now up into 4th and looking really, really racy on the back of Angel Piqueras. He's right in his slipstream as they go down into turn 1, but the front 2 also. Almanza, it looks as if that's got the lead ahead of Ralston, but it might all change down into turn 1. Expect it to continue.
Well, it's Almanza manages to hold on, but Esteban
very
pushes
wide
a
there.
little bit wide, and is Ralston who's gone back through, and Esteban is slotted back into 4th place with Piqueras in 3rd. So it's as you were coming across the line, which is a bit of a surprise, but not for long as Ralston has a little look up the inside, but Almanza closes the door in his face. Ralston going to have another little peek up to see what he can do, but Piqueras is right on his tail. And again, it's as you were coming across.
Adrian Cruces also looking menacing at the back of this group on the number 11. He's looking to try and join the party at the front now as they continue to change positions. Piqueras is on the move. If he wants to win it this weekend, he's going to have to be looking at that top step on the rostrum. But if Ralston and Almanza have anything to say about it, it won't go the way for Piqueras. Esteban now all over the rear wheel of Piqueras as well. Keep an eye on the youngster. So impressive so far this year as has been Joel Esteban. Very fast in the ETC last year. Missed out on the championship with injury.
Just having a little look further back on the timesheets of some of the boys who were slapped with penalties from the back of the grid. Buasri and Bartolini have already pushed their way up into P18 and P19. Ali Tama's in P15 and Eddie O'Shea, Britwatch, is in P11. An absolutely superb couple of opening laps for the number 8. Let's see if he can keep that pace going and get himself up into the top positions here. Podium could potentially be on. He's setting a decent pace out in mid-pack. But it is Ralston who leads with Almanza. Let's see if it all changes coming down turn 1. Remember, it's a kilometre in length, so slipstream is going to be huge here. Zuratutsa side by side with Esteban, but there's not a whole lot of chopping. And Cruces sets the fastest lap, but it gets hung up on the outside by Nico Carraro.
Yeah, Cruces trying to force it to fit there, trying to find a gap that was there but wasn't fully committed to it. And when you're in a grid like this with riders like this, you really need to be committed to those moves now, as Ralston up the inside of Almanza takes that inside line. Piqueras now just watching these front two, doesn't feel like he needs to be getting too involved in the battle at the front. Still 13 laps to go in this one, so no sense in rushing things at the moment. The race will just start to settle down a little bit, but as you can imagine, the positions will continue to swap.
Yeah, good point. You can imagine this is going to be a real test of Piqueras' racecraft. He's got the championship advantage. He could seal it today, but the last thing he wants is a mistake, maybe to crash out and open the door for one of the other contenders to come in and close that gap.
Yeah, he could win it this weekend, as we've said, but he doesn't have to win it this weekend. There's still Aragon yet to come up next, and it could very well be done there. A couple of riders running a bit wide in the background. Esteban just losing sight of the top three at the moment, but you can imagine by the end of that kilometre-long front straight, he'll have reeled them back in. Perhaps just a couple of mistakes there for the number 7. Still as you were for the top guys.
Yeah, it's very settled this race as of yet. Ralston, Almanza and Piqueras very happy just to lead as a front three. They're going to see if they can open up a little bit of a gap to the guys behind us. There's plenty of chopping and changing. Esteban, Carraro, Cruces, Zurituza all battling as Almanza has a little look up the inside coming through into turn 1, but it is Ralston, and once again the slipstream hasn't been coming into huge effect here. There are 3 riders battling there. Cruces, Esteban, and I'm not sure who the other one is. I think it's Carraro, but again the front 3 remains the same, coming across the line and into turn 1. This is something we didn't fully expect. Piqueras mentioned it yesterday that the slipstream on that front straight is a huge advantage, but it seems riders are not yet taking full advantage of it. Zurituza though moves up into 4th place. Carraro sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:49.304. But it's as you were once again. Ralston looking comfortable out front with Almanza and Piqueras slotted in behind. Then it's Zurituza rather, Carraro and Esteban completing top 6 places.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see some of the riders slightly further back in the field setting the fastest laps of the race. Of course, they've got a few bikes that Carraro's got 4 bikes ahead of him, punching a hole in the air, so he can know there's a lot less wind resistance on board that Moto3 machine, so that'll help him no end down that kilometre-long circuit, taking nothing away from the lap he's put in, though. Ralston then chasing that first victory. He picked up 2nd place earlier on in the season, but still yet to taste champagne on the top of the podium, and he's looking pretty racy at the moment. He's looking confident at the front of this race. Doesn't seem like he's out of his depth at all, and it's just actually starting to stretch these guys a little bit now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting tactic here from Ralston. It looks like he wants to break away, get them out of his slipstream, and he could be on for a first ever win if he can put up a little bit of a gap, and we're going to see it now as we clock off another lap. Just a little bit of housekeeping, and Leo Rammersdorfer's day gets a little bit worse as he has to repeat his long lap penalty. But just as we say, Ralston was trying to open up a gap, we see Almanza, Piqueras, Zurituza and Carraro now right on his tail. Carraro looking for the inside line. It's the number 18. Is that Alvaro Carpe? It isn't, my apologies, but we see a rider going down.
That's the number 78 of Rosenthaler who's gone down. A dangerous place to go down there at the end of the front straight, so we're going to hope that they can get the bike off the circuit. Currently yellow flags down into turn 1. But hopefully they can, like we say, get the bike off the side of the circuit and get it out of harm's way.
Yeah, hopefully, and you can see the marshal sprinting on to get rid of it from turn number 1. Thankfully, it looks like he is okay, but Licky Moly Husqvarna into
Let's just have a look what happened here. Oh, he just tags the back of O'Shea.
Tags into the back of Eddie O'Shea. That's very unfortunate. O'Shea has done well to stay afloat on that, but my word, he slid across track there. What a nightmare for the Licky Moly Husqvarna Intact GP team, with Rammersdorfer just being handed a repeat long lap penalty. Rosenthaler crashes out of this race.
See Eddie O'Shea now at the back of this group. You've got that front group with Lunetta latched onto the back in P10, and then a little bit of a gap to that battle for 11th spot. Currently Eddie O'Shea leading that, but it'll be a tall order to try and catch this front group. He's running more or less just about 7/10 of a second slower than these guys out the front, so it'll be a tall order for the Brit to catch these guys out the front. Lunetta has just dropped off the back of this group as well, but hopefully by the end of that front straight he can latch himself back onto the back and we will have a 10-rider battle for the win. Zurutuza now right in the slipstream of Angel Piqueras. They all head down the front straight one more time, all going to the inside of
we go 5 abreast coming in, and
Zurutuza
has come out, and Carraro slots into second, and for the first time coming into turn 1 we see a change in the lead. Zurutuza firing it up the inside.
Incredible there, we saw him getting right in the slipstream of Piqueras, was putting himself right in his wheel tracks, and he got the perfect buttery slipstream down into turn 1 and then made that move. Brilliant stuff from Zurutuza, took victory last time out in the Algarve, and he's looking racy here in Barcelona.
Yeah, he looks very much like he wants this. He did it on the line the last time in race 1 in the Algarve. It looks like he's going to try to do it a little bit earlier this time round. Carraro has done well, but that's Rulston diving up the inside, one of the Finetwork boys. That's Almanza. Oof, and was that Rulston just slightly out of his seat a little bit? But Almanza has an answer for him. No, he doesn't. Rulston cuts the nose off him and remains in P3.
Zurutuza it is that leads from Rulston. From Carraro, sorry. Rulston currently in 3rd. Almanza as well, looking racy in 4th. And Cruces making some big moves so far in this race. Lunetta has dropped off the back of this group, struggling to get back on to this leading battle. Sideways down into them. This is that battle a little bit further back for 11th place. You've got Eddie O'Shea in there, Lambias, Morosi as well in there, and a couple of the other talent team boys, Tachikorn Bouazri in there as well, who picked up an impressive 2nd place last time out at the Algarve, Chris.
Yeah, very impressive rider. He's come through the Asia Talent Cup system, which you can now see applications are now open for the Asia Talent Cup, a breeding ground of the best riders from the continent of Asia. Tachikorn Bouazri though has a little moment there just coming around the right-hander. Still slots in behind Eddie O'Shea as we look a little further back with the number Uchuimu bringing up the pack, and it's all change again out front. It's Zurutuza, followed by Cruces and Almanza coming into turn 1. And then is that Alvaro Carpe a little further back, just making a move up the outside to get himself into the top 5 or top 6 places. So with 9 laps to go, it seems that the action on track is beginning to heat up. It's Zurutuza, he leads Cruces. Almanza is currently in P3. Cruces cuts the nose off his teammates as well. Almanza, as he looked at up the inside. Jakob Rulston has slotted back into 4th position. Angel Piqueras, he's had a quiet race. He was mostly in 3rd place, and here comes Carpe. He's just done him up the inside on the left-hander. So Piqueras is falling back just ever so slightly here, but I think it's a matter of biding his time, picking up some safe points.
Alvaro Carpe looking to the inside of Ralston, no way through there, through turn 6. Carpe really coming to his own this year after jumping onto that Husqvarna machine. Didn't score a point last year, but now joined the Intact GP Husqvarna team and is really pushing on that machine, and is, like we say, is really coming to his own. Zurutuza then it is that currently leads out the front. Won last time out in Portimao, then crashed out of race 2, or a little bit tight through there, and Almanza and Cruces both make their way through on Zurutuza. So then Almanza is now that leads with Cruces, his teammate, all over his rear wheel, but the positions will change once again as we head down that kilometre-long front straight.
Yeah, the final right-hander now as we come through to the long straight. You could throw a blanket over the front 9 here. We're looking at a move up the inside. There's Rulston,
nearly on the grass.
And Carpe takes the wider angle. Who will lead coming into turn 1? Almanza has the advantage, but Joel Esteban and Carraro are charging up the inside. This is 4 or 5 riders abreast. It's Almanza, followed by Rulston, and then it's Cruces.
Take a breath, no idea where to look as they all barrel down into turn 1, 4, 5 abreast. Riders everywhere, the dust being kicked up almost on the grass. And it's the number 22 of Almanza that leads then from Ralston, and Cruces. Piqueras now menacing in 4th place, now up into 3rd. He slots himself underneath the number 11. Piqueras making moves now.
Piqueras making moves, but keep an eye on Alvaro Carpe. He was the quickest rider of this lead group last time out by about a 10th and a little bit to spare in his back pocket. So just keep an eye on him. But it is going to get bunched up here as Almanza leads Ralston. Ralston going to have a little look up the inside. Not quite. but as they swing around the left-hander, as Piqueras now is beginning to really get into motion.
Times just dropping off slightly on the last couple of laps, but that will be with all the battling that's going on out the front of this race. But lap times don't matter anymore. It's about who crosses the line first. Almanza then still leading ahead of Ralston. Ralston hungry to taste victory on that gas machine. Yeah, really looking strong this weekend, was following his times through in practice and looked so good, so consistent on that bike.
Yeah, having spoken to some of the riders as well, they were concerned about the speed of Almanza. He has been constantly among the top 3, looks a real talent. And we actually ran into Moto2 star Alonso Lopez yesterday, and he's in the FI Network garage this weekend, helping out the team. But he's been very impressed by David Almanza's performances this weekend. He's definitely got the pace to lead at the front, is what he said. Well, he wasn't wrong. He's been out front here non-stop. It is Almanza who leads over Ralston. And then the battle for third place, it could be any of them, was Cruces who had it over the line. Piqueras is in fourth, and Carraro hangs it out the outside of 2 riders. He has some of that, says take some of that to Piqueras. And a brilliant move out the round of the outside on Piqueras and Carpe to get himself into 4th place. We get the hands out to follow me, boys. Why would you want to follow the leader? You want to lead the race, guys. It's all action here out the front. And poor Xabi Zurituza, a couple of laps ago, he was leading this race. He's been bunted all the way back, just ahead of Joel Esteban. Well, Facundo Llambias remains at the back of this group. It'll be interesting. We mentioned Llambias. A top 10 would be a very good result for the Uruguayan rider. But is he just waiting for his moment to strike at the back of this group? It could go any way here.
Could be a turning point for Llambias. Here's a replay of all the action that went down into turn 1. Almanza braking hard on the curbs, and Ralston just slotting it up the inside on that gas machine. Perfect block pass executed there from the gas rider. Beautiful images there through the first complex, that turn 1 and 2. Really, really nice section of racetrack here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Ralston then, it is relentless, wants to lead every lap that he can on that gas machine, and is just able through that those last couple of sectors to just put a little bit of space between himself and the riders behind. But as we see lap after lap, by the time they get to the end of that straight, that little bit of time that he's put on them was worth nothing.
Yeah, he is very strong through that opening sector and opening couple sectors. But as you mentioned, down the straight, we're going to see that little bit of a gap he had built up disappear here as he veers it to the left coming into turn 1. Round the outside then of Cruces. Will Carraro make that move stick? He absolutely does. Brilliant stuff. So Cruces slots back into 4th at the expense of Carraro, who is now in 3rd. Zurituza's fought his way back up to 5th place with Piqueras in 6th. And Piqueras, once again, is he just refusing to show the wheel, just happy to take home some good points? Well, he's got his main title rival just after overtaking him. That's Alvaro Carpe, who has just fired past him. So maybe that might kick the championship leader into action here. Joel Esteban lead following then. Luca Lunetta, as we can see, has fallen back. Elia Bartolini's charge from the back of the pack sees him move into P11, just behind Morosi. Eddie O'Shea, 14th. He was another rider to start at the back of the grid. So that's pretty excellent ride from both the Italian and young Brit.
Yeah, that group has swallowed up Luca Lunetta now, who was a few bike lengths up the road from this group, but he's now right in that mix with the 2 junior talent team riders, Brasri and O'Shea in there. Now back to the front guys. Ralston, it is still that leads from Almanza and Carraro. Xabi Zurituza looking menacing on the number 85 machine as well. Piqueras has been bumped down the order here, but it's a difficult situation for Piqueras. Doesn't want to get too involved in the mix, doesn't want to get in any danger, but at the same time, if you're not overtaking in Junior GP, you're being overtaken. And if you're getting swallowed up into the pack behind, it's just as dangerous as battling with the guys out the front. So needs to think cleverly here, Piqueras.
Yeah, we mentioned it already about his racecraft. He's probably, it looks like he's racing not with the same abandon he had earlier in the season that has seen him take 3 wins so far. He seems to have a little bit of caution about how he approaches this one with the championship on the line. He's just going to try and get a little bit closer to it this weekend if he keeps racing like this. He's currently running in P7. That would pick him up a comfortable 9 points. That wouldn't quite extend his advantage, but with time running out for the likes of Carapay, Carraro, Almanza, Rulston, they're going to have to start winning races if they really, really want to reel in Piqueras over the next few rounds. So it is Rulston who still leads out front. He's led a number of the laps here in race 1 in the Junior GP. A really strong performance from him. Davor Almanza has not been far away. It seems it's the Rulston Almanza show in 1 and 2. Carraro has slotted into 3rd position. He hasn't really been challenged since he got there after he punted back Adrian Cruces, who has dropped to 6th place, with Alvaro Carpe and Xabi Zurituza both getting the better of the Fiend Network Mir Racing Team rider.
4.5 laps to go then, and it's the calm before the storm in Junior GP as Almanza now takes the lead from Rulston, and there's a change for 3rd as well as Zurituza has a little look up the inside and does make that move stick on Carraro. Alvaro Carpe as well now looking menacing on the number 83, currently sat there in 5th position. The Estrella Galicia boys look on, eager to see where Piqueras will finish this race. Has picked up 3 wins, 6 podiums and 1 pole position so far this season. Has been on the podium in every race up until Portimao, where he was forced wide with 2 laps to go, finished 7th. Apart from that, his worst result has been P3, so a pretty consistent season for the number 18.
Yeah, he has been excellent all year, and we saw the live championship standings there. Things remain as they are. He'll be 51 points ahead. Xabi Zurituza fires it up the outside coming into turn 1, getting the inside line into turn 2 to take the lead ahead of the Fiend Network Mir Racing Team boys. Almanza in 2nd, Cruces in 3rd, with Alvaro Carpe in 4th, and Jakob Ralston, he has been dropped to 6th position coming through there. Well, he's got some work to do now to make his way through the pack. He's just got Piqueras behind him, with Joel Esteban following in the championship leader, and Facundo Yambias remains at the back of this group. He's dropped off just ever so slightly.
Moves being made there a little bit further back from Joel Esteban. Last very strong runner last year in the European Talent Cup, as we mentioned earlier on, and really coming into his own this year in the Junior GP category. Just dropped off the back of the front guys ever so slightly, still in this group but not in the mix with the front 3, but still 3.5 laps remaining, and the order, I'm sure, will change from corner to corner as it does. Lambias just dropping off the back of this group now. You can see that battle for 11th in the back of your picture as well. But Zurituza now eager to taste victory once again. Didn't finish in race 2 at Portimao, but he'll be hoping that first victory has opened up the floodgates and they'll be coming in like London buses. There's a crash there now for the number 72.
That's
unfortunately
Hamada,
down that
who
race.
has gone down in turn 7, I believe. And the yellow flags are out there, so they'll need to be careful coming through that now. They're not at that part of the track yet. They're coming back into Sector 1 from Sector 4. Turn 1 coming up. Hopefully Hamada is okay. And Zurituza leads across the line with Almanza and Carpe close behind. But will he lead coming into turn 1? Well, they're all taking different lines here, aren't they? So it's Zurituza who does have the advantage. Cruces has a little look up the inside, but it's Carraro who likes that move around the outside in turn 1, getting the inside line into turn 2. He slots it, stays in 2nd place, with Cruces now in 3rd, Carpe in 4th, and Almanza, well, that's not great to see. Hopefully it's all precautionary and it's just a stinger more than anything serious. So coming around turn 7, oof, he lost that very early.
Yeah, just on the brakes there, just happened very violently, perhaps a little bit too much, perhaps just caught a little bit of the curb, and that just snapped away so quickly. The front just washed away and he was down, hit the tarmac quite hard there, so no wonder he's walking slightly wounded, but I'm sure he'll be up and okay and ready for the next one. So these guys out the front, no idea where to look half the time. There's moves being made all the way through this leading group down into turn 1. There was 10 bikes, all pretty much competing for that same piece of tarmac. There's only so much tarmac, there's only so much space around this Catalunya circuit. But these guys now, Zurituza leading the way ahead of Carraro, who's kept himself in the mix all race long. Esteban's now moved himself up into 4th as well.
And he gets bunted back by Almanza as well, who jumps up into the inside for P2. And you blink and you miss it here, because Carraro and Zurututsa rather was leading. Carraro made his move, but all of a sudden Zurututsa's back in third place and within the clutches of Joel Esteban, who was on the last lap at the back of this pack. Adrian Cruces was on the podium, but now he's just ahead of Jan Bias and behind Jakob Rolston, who has led most of the race in 7th and 8th place. Over we go then, only a couple laps remaining. This is going to get spicy here. It's under the Barcelona sun, blistering conditions. Carraro leads over the line. Esteban takes a wide line. Carpe wide line as well. Is Carpe going to make that move stick? And here comes Angel Piqueras on the outside. Oh, that's brilliant from the championship leader on the outside. Carpe looked like he was going to make a move, but Angel Piqueras shows all his class and quality there to slot in behind Joel Esteban, who is like I said, at the back of this pack only a couple laps ago, and now he's in the front. Piqueras, we were wondering when he was going to make his move. He's met it with 2 laps to go. Coming around now to the right-hander. Piqueras is in 2nd place. Zurututsa is up into 3rd place at the expense of Carpe, but Carpe's going to fight back. But Zurututsa has the inside line now on Piqueras. Piqueras is a sandwich between Zurututsa and Carpe, and Piqueras has been dropped back to 4th position. It's all chopping and changing here with a lap and a half to go.
It's crunch time in the FIM Junior GP World Championship, and just as we thought we were going to write off Esteban, he's made his way right to the front of this group. So as we can see, anything can happen here in Junior GP. A lap and a half remaining of this circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and it is Javi Zurututsa who currently has the advantage, but Angel Piqueras, he can smell blood. He knows now it's hammer time. It's now or never in Barcelona for him. Is he? Oh, a little bit of a moment for Piqueras.
But he
still makes it stick though, he's still leading.
Brilliant. You never give a smell of blood to a vampire, and that's exactly what Angel Piqueras is. He's a vampire, he smelt the blood and now he's out front. Coming around into the final sector, just over 1 lap remaining. The championship leader has made his move. Zurututsa sits in 2nd, just ahead of Joel Esteban. But keep an eye out for Alvaro Carpe in Sector 1. He's been brilliant coming around the tight and twisty turns that are there in Sector 1. He's going to make a move, but Piqueras is leading over the line.
Right then, down into turn 1 they go, trying to take a little bit of a breath there, see what was going to happen, but as ever it's completely unpredictable as Zurututsa leads the final lap, the first sector of the final lap. Angel Piqueras slotting himself into P2. Alonso Lopez looks on, he's here helping the Finetwork boys, but they've been pushed back in this pack so far this race. On this last lap, Carpe making moves now further back, and the 2 Gas boys are swapping paintwork. Luckily, they're the same colour.
Yeah, Rolston and Carraro rubbing elbows there. That won't be on the Christmas card list, but it's Carraro who drops back as Manta is getting the elbow grease out. He dives up the inside of Carraro there. He wants his podium. Out front though, Zurututsa, who leads over Piqueras. Jakob Rolston has led for the most of this, but the Finetwork Mir boys get a bit close and personal. Almanza is scything his way through this lead group. He is taking no prisoners. He's just gone through, and Adrian Cruces into 4th position. He's going to chase down this lead group now. Zurututsa out front, Piqueras, Rolston, Almanza just behind them. But here comes Carraro up the inside of Cruces, and Almanza's gone! Oh, he's gone down! Almanza. Oh, how many times have we seen that this season? David Almanza on the charge, and he's gone down on the last lap as he looked for a podium. So it's Zurututsa then who leads with Jakob Rolston after making a move on Piqueras. And it's Zurututsa leads, so Piqueras has been dropped back to 3rd position. Coming around now into the final quarters, Zurututsa's got the advantage. Will the slipstream come into effect? I don't think Rolston's close enough, and Zurututsa's going to take the win ahead of Rolston. Piqueras is in 3rd position. Nico Carraro comes home 4th, Adrian Cruces and Joel Esteban in the top 6. David Almanza crashes out on the last lap as he's looking for a podium position, but Zurututsa is back on the top step. Look at those celebrations. A brilliant, brilliant ride from Zurututsa.
An absolute barnstorming final lap here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. A brilliant ride from Zurututsa. Timed it to perfection, was leading down into turn 10, and as Jorge Lorenzo once said, if you go into that stadium section leading, you're more or less going to win the race, although he was proved wrong in that race.
Jorge Lorenzo was proven wrong. When you say it, eh? When you say it, you jinxed it.
Yeah.
But brilliant stuff Look at that wheelie from Jakob Rolston as well. Eddie O'Shea just behind him. Brilliant ride from Eddie O'Shea. P12 after coming from back of the grid, just behind Elia Bartolini and Tatakom Bouasri, also riders who came from the back of the grid. Brilliant ride from Bouasri for P10. Piqueras, though, he has set himself up for a championship win. We were questioning his tactics. He was very, very cautious there today, but yet finishes on the podium. But it's all about this rider here on screen, Xabi Zurituza.
Yeah, Piqueras finished in front of all of the riders he needed to finish in front of, but still a tall order to pick up that championship in race 2. Zurituza, though, what a ride from the number 85.
Yeah, absolutely super stuff from Zurituza, and another brilliant race from Jakob Olsen. He is back on the podium after his earlier one this season. Brilliant, brilliant wheelie here. He's quite fond of that, and he's very good at it. Side-by-side wheelies with Angel Piqueras. Two very, very happy riders, and why not? Piqueras extends his championship lead with a P3 here. 16 crucial championship points for the young Spaniard, and the title is very much on. Can he seal us in race 2? That we will yet have to find out, but watch him go. He is a talent for the future. Xabi Zurituza, he's really, really coming into his own these days. 2 wins in the last 3 races. The first win coming as the 100th different race winner in the Junior GP class, and he did that from coming on the back of the grid through the long lap penalty to steal it on the line in the Algarve race 1 round. Today it was a much simpler affair, I think it is fair to say, because he started on the 3rd row, led for much of the race. Jakob Rolston and Almanza did lead in the early stages. Zurituza really came into his own during the second half of that race, getting some congratulations there from the marshals and the number 85. A real talent for the future in this class, and who knows, even beyond, as he rolls into pit lane, clearly delighted with his performance. So we await the Parc Fermé celebrations. I'm sure they will kick off in big style as he does a little stand up on the way through to Parc Fermé. Let's see how the celebrations will kick off. Stoppy just in front of his team, and let's take a listen to the celebrations here in Circuit de Catalunya. On the shoulders of his team, Vamos Xavi, they say. Let's go, Xavi. A superb performance. Jakob Rolston dropping over to offer his congratulations to very, very happy riders, no doubt. Rolston still waiting for that breakthrough win, but an absolutely superb performance today. He was leading in that lead group constantly. He did get dropped back to about P7 or P8 at one stage with just a few laps to go, but managed to fight back brilliantly to take another podium here. The Aspar Junior team clearly have a big talent on their hands, as do the Team Estrella Galicia 0-0 side. Angel Piqueras, champion-elect. Well, we have to wait and see in race 2. He's picked up 16 crucial points here as his championship chart goes on. He doesn't look overly delighted, but this is the story of the race. Zurituza, what a move that was to fire it up the inside. Coming through there, Jakob Rolston then bullies back. Angel Piqueras, well, just behind them on the last lap. David Almanza, heartbreak for him as he charged for the podium. And then it's Xabi Zurituza led Rolston over the line with Angel Piqueras in 3rd. Disappointment, though, for David Almanza. He crashed out of the race while on the podium charge. But big congratulations all round from the 2 riders there. Clearly delighted with 2 excellent rides. We'll hear from our race winner momentarily. Tristan is down in Parc Fermé, so we will just wait for Xabi to make his way over, and Tristan will be able to get his thoughts. We can see there the celebration still in full flow. Jakob Rulston, Angel Piqueras. Piqueras didn't maybe have the biggest smile on his face, but didn't seem overly content with this race. But he's still on the podium and still in control of his own fate. Now it's time to pass over to Tristan and our race winner, Xabi Zurutuza.
Xabi Zurutuza, you took victory in race 1 in Portimao. You've taken victory here in Barcelona. It was an incredible last lap. You timed it to perfection. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, it was incredible race, amazing race. I am very intelligent in this race because I am in the group. I'm put leading, but I see I don't go fast first, and I go in the group. And in the last lap, I try to pass all and do the last lap alone and win my second race of the championship.
Perfect. Now in Spanish.
Bueno, ha sido una carrera bastante bonita, ya que he sido muy inteligente y bueno, he analizado bastante bien la carrera, que cada vez se me da mejor. Y bueno, muchas gracias al equipo, que son unos cracks, han trabajado muchísimo desde el jueves, ya que hice una cagada mía, pero bueno, ya lo he solucionado. Y nada, muchas gracias a mis sponsors, que si no sería por ellos yo no estaría aquí, ni en ningún lado. Y bueno, y a mi familia, y a mi tío, y a mis padres, y a mi prima, y a todos. Os quiero a todos.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this is how race 1 here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, Barcelona went. Jakob Rulston, brilliant start, but it was Angel Piqueras who took the advantage going into turn 1 at lights out. It was chop and change right behind him. Rulston slotted in behind with Carraro, Almanza, Zurutuza just in behind, fighting for 3rd place. Rulston made a move then up the inside, but Almanza managed to hold it off, but not for long. Rulston finally getting out into the lead. Almanza put in a fine ride. Both riders put in a fine ride to take the advantage out front, with Piqueras slotting into 3rd position just behind them. Eddie O'Shea then, the number 8, started at the back of the grid and he got ran into the back of by Rammersdorfer, or Rosenthaler rather, making for a difficult day for the Liqui Moly Husqvarna team, as Rosenthaler had to go through the long lap penalty as well. Back out in the victory fight though, Rulston, the number 12, and Almanza, the number 22, getting close there. But it was Rulston again who took the advantage as the Team Estrella Galicia 00 boys looked on. Angel Piqueras looked like he was having a quiet race, slotted a little further back in that lead group, but it wasn't to be for long. The number 72 of Hamada crashing out. Hopefully he is okay. He looked a little bit shaken after that incident, but managed to clear the track pretty quickly. Xabi Zurutuza then began to make his move and pushed out into the front, and as did Angel Piqueras. Here we can see the number 18 of Piqueras, after a brilliant move at turn 1, managed to take the lead with just a couple of laps remaining. But then it was all chopping and changing again at turn 1. Xabi Zurutuza coming wide in, the number 85, and he was leading Piqueras before Rulston lined up a move on Piqueras. Here we go, up the inside of the Team Estrella Galicia rider, but then just behind him, David Almanza, who was on the podium charge, crashed out of contention on the last lap. Zurutuza then come around the final corner. There was no catching the number 85 as he held on for a 2nd win ahead of Rulston and Angel Piqueras.
Estem aquí al circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. ¿Qué tal? Benvinguts, muy buenas, bienvenidos al primer podio.
So big welcome to the fans here from the stadium announcers. We get ready for the podium ceremony, and Tristan, it is wonderful to see such a large crowd out here for round 5 of the championship in Barcelona.
Yeah, it was great to see when we pulled up to the circuit this morning, all the fans flocking to the circuit, all the fans flocking to pit lane for that pit lane walk.
So out comes Angel Piqueras, P3, and I have to give him big credit for that helmet. I got the view of it yesterday. I'm a big fan of it. Australian rider then, Jakob Rulston. He finished in 2nd and will take his spot on the podium. But this is your race winner here from race 1 in the Junior GP Championship from round 5. A clearly delighted Xabi Zurutuza.
Nothing tastes sweeter than victory, and it's his 2nd on the bounce, barring that crash in race 2 at Portimao.
So now it is time for the 3 riders to get their very well-deserved trophies. presented by Josep Luis Santamaria, the managing director of the circuit here. And also the team representative getting his well-deserved and well-earned desserts. So big congratulations to Angel Piqueras. He takes home the trophy for P3. Muted celebrations, I would say, from the championship leader. Maybe he was hoping for a little bit better things, but a P3 today in race 1 is not a bad result by any means.
Yeah, he looks a bit disappointed with that one.
Parc Ferme, muted celebrations, and that is who I thought it was. Joel Kelso, Moto 3 World Championship rider, handing out the second place trophy to his compatriot Jacob Rulston.
Rulston, you can see as well, also really wanted that victory, but it was Zurutuza that took it, and he's definitely happy.
Jean-Marc Desnus then giving the winner's trophy to a very, very happy Xabi Zurutuza. And now time for the Spanish national anthem. Stadium announcer doing a fantastic job to get the people going here after a wonderful rendition of the Spanish national anthem. So, they'll take their helmets. They should have a little bit of fizzy water to spray. They'll get their photo on the podium first. And a little bit of Queen starts playing out. You can always be certain of one thing here in Barcelona: the DJ is always on point.
Yep, I'm enjoying. Zurutuza is going to be hoping no one's going to be stopping him in race 2.
And here we go, out with the bubbly, fizzy water. Of course, these are just young teenagers and the stars of the future, but the celebrations are around.
Yeah, Rulston's the only one there that's got that's got the champagne, or I think it's the Prosecco actually. But yeah, these guys both under 18.
That's it. Well, he'll need to be careful with that champagne with race 2 coming up. So these are the results from the opening race of the Barcelona round here. Xabi Zurutuza is your winner with Jacob Rulston and Angel Piqueras joining him on the podium. Nico Carraro just missed out on the top 3 by 0.3 of a second with Adrian Cruces, Joel Esteban, Alvaro Carpe just behind. Facundo Yambias pulls off a good result for P8. Alessandro Morosi then the head of that second group. Tachiko Mbuasri, Elia Bartolini, Eddie O'Shea all coming from the back of the grid to put in fine rides, while Luca Lanera, Marcus Uriarte and Daniel Shariel complete the point scoring finishes. Marcus Ruda, Cormac Buchanan then coming in just about a second and a half, a couple of seconds behind Shariel, with Arbi Aditama, Uchiumi, Ramersdorfer, Detweiler, Almanza, Tiazzi, Plonk and Gordon all collecting race finishes but no points. And as you can see, David Almanza did remount but came home 22nd, not what he was looking for. Uetsun Collins also took the checkered flag, with Rossenthaler and Hamada both crashers. So we will have the championship standings now, and it is a pivotal race 2 coming up. We'll just wait for our graphic. There it is. Angel Piqueras is out top, number 18. We haven't quite got the numbers there. I don't trust my own math skills to wing it, but I just know that he's picked up 16 extra points, and we'll bring you a full roundup of how he can win the championship when you tune in for race 2 later. But it's all about one rider in race 1. That is Xabi Zurutuza. Takes his second victory of the season in spectacular fashion.